Well, one of the nice things about Creative Commons licenses is that they're free to use, so there's no cost. And as an educator, the one thing that you can do is you can share your materials. So if you are the copyright holder to materials that you're producing today, then it's your choice. You could choose not to share and keep those materials for you and your students. And that's fine if that's your choice. But you might also decide that as an educator, you'd like to have as much positive impact as you can, not just with your students, but when you share your materials, that you could positively affect other students around the world as well. And so one thing you can do is to add a Creative Commons license to your work that you own. And we have 6 different licenses, which I'm happy to go through. And then we also have public domain tools. So the nice thing about Creative Commons licenses is you're not giving up your copyright. You keep your copyright, or you keep your ownership, and you're adding a license. And what you're doing there is you're moving from all rights reserved, copyright, to some rights reserved. And so you're still retaining the copyright, but you're also giving some legal rights to the public. And we have these different licenses. All of our licenses require attribution, right? So if somebody uses your work, Miguel, they have to give you credit. They have to say this is the title of the work, the author, the source or the URL, and the license. The other 3 conditions are optional that you can choose to add to your license or not. The first optional condition is called Sharealike. And so if you share your work and it has a Sharealike license on it, and I take your work, and let's say I take your work and I translate it into English for my class. That was a substantial change, a major change that I made to your work. My changed work has to be licensed under the same terms as the original. So if you licensed your work, attribution Sharealike, I would also have to license the adaptation, the modified version, attribution Sharealike. So think about Wikipedia. Everything on Wikipedia is under an attribution Sharealike license, Creative Commons attribution Sharealike. The next option is called non-commercial. Non-commercial is what it sounds like. You may use my work for free, you can modify my work, but you cannot sell access to my work. You can't make primary commercial use of it. And then the third option is called no derivatives, which means you may not change my work. You may not adapt my work. In education, we try to stay away from the no derivatives license because other educators make changes. We all do, right? We take a piece of work that we find and we modify it, and we take parts of it and we move it around so that it fits the needs of our students. So that's one thing you can do, is share your work and others can benefit from it. Another thing that educators do, if you understand open licensing and open education, is to help others understand as well. And so you could have a meeting with other teachers. There's an opportunity to talk with your school or your district or the state that you're in, or maybe even have a discussion at a national level about open education and the government providing support. So there's a new instrument that came out of UNESCO called the Recommendation on Open Education Resources, and the Spanish government signed onto the recommendation. It was a unanimous yes vote, and so the government in Spain has said yes, open education is important, and part of what is in the recommendation is actions that the Spanish government can take to support educators.